Hello guys, it's me, Greed here. Today I want to talk about the Overwatch Matchmaker, and there's this really good video by another guy called Other Frost, or The Other Frost, who made a really good matchmaking video. And although it's not necessarily the root of my opinion, it is just a good video that you should watch. Anyway, matchmaking. Matchmaking is a pretty common complaint right now. It's a pretty big topic. A lot of people are complaining about their matchmaking. Oh, my teammates suck. How am I supposed to win? The matchmaking gave me shit teams. This is a stomp. We're stomping them. This isn't fun. These are all very common complaints about the matchmaker. However, these are not problems with the matchmaker. And when I hear people talking about the matchmaker, it makes me annoyed because although people don't understand how a matchmaking system works, and I obviously don't to the same degree that someone that's an engineer of a matchmaking system would as well, I do have the understanding that there are things in a matchmaker that are variables that can be accounted for, like human volatility, emotional state, tilt status, things like that, the heroes you play, the heroes you're against, the map you get, the bans, so on. There are so many things the matchmaker cannot possibly account for that there's no possible way it can make a fair match. That is literally reality. If it can't account for every variation, it cannot make a fair game. That is just how it is. However, most games get pretty close, and that is more than good enough. And I think Overwatch's matchmaker is beyond more than good enough. I find Overwatch's matchmaker to be very good in comparison to most other games, right? Now, sounds like a crazy take, and it kind of is, because most people are complaining about the matchmaker for a good reason, and it isn't the matchmaker. Most people are mad at the matchmaker because it's the easiest thing to see, it's the easiest thing to blame. We're getting stomped, my teammate is doing bad, therefore, this is a problem with the matchmaker. That makes complete sense to draw that conclusion. However, that is not correct. Maybe in some cases it is, but in most cases it isn't. The problem is the lack of solo play, carry potential, the way to get your own reward through your own play, the speed at which you're able to get that reward, because in a lot of cases, if you are much better than everyone else in the lobby, there can be so much in the way between you and doing the thing you need to do to win the fight that your team might just kill themselves before you're capable of doing it. For example, if I'm coming up on last fight and I need to blade, and maybe I need to get rid of the Suzu, and the TP, and the Annonade, and the Sleep, and the Doom Empowered Punch, and the McCree Flash, and the Reaper Wraith, and all these shit things I need to get rid of, that by the time I've gotten rid of even half of those things, one of my teammates has found a way to kill himself. And what you'll notice is most of those abilities, not all of them, like Annonade and Sleep, which I think to be are completely fine abilities in my opinion, most of those abilities are reactive denial dog shit, where their entire purpose is to say, this guy's doing something, I am denying it. I don't find those abilities to be remotely interesting, or dynamic, or fun in any way, or rewarding, or competitive. It is boring. Because look at it this way, right? If I am, let's say, a normal player, and I'm against a really good Tracer player, Genji player, Sombra player, anyone, right? Ball player, Doom player even. I can go McCree, and the character is so ludicrously overpowered that I am able to just simply look at that guy all game and permanently shut him down, because the time he spends dealing with the fact that I have the ability to shut him down is enough to generate a lot of value by default, which means I don't really have to do all that much to potentially win, but he has to do a lot to potentially win, unless he wants to counterpick because of the power creep in the game. It is impossible. It is an insurmountable task to overcome some of the level of counterpicking that can be done because of the amount of power creep. For example, I've explained this a million times, power creep is essentially the idea that over a period of time, the power of all the characters, especially the new ones, increases over time. So, especially the older ones, to match the new power level of the newly released heroes, that are likely going to have some new ability or idea or something to make it so that that character is more unique. Therefore, you power creep the rest of the cast to keep them in line with the new hero. That is power creep. So, if you power creep a game over and over and over again, all of the strengths and weaknesses of those characters get massively amplified. The weaknesses remain similarly strengthed, because obviously you cannot change the weakness of a character. Generally speaking, if a hero has an inherent flaw, an inherent weakness to them, they are always going to have that weakness. But if you power creep everyone's strengths, it means that those strengths hit those weaknesses much harder, meaning counterpicking is much more effective because it becomes less about the skill and more about the player. The more you power creep the game, the less competitive it gets. The more you blame the matchmaker, the more stompy the game feels. There is more denial abilities in the game, like Suzu and so on. They make it so it's much harder to be rewarded for good, proactive play, and there are much more denial abilities in the game that make it so that standing around, doing nothing, waiting for the good player to do something, reacting to it and counteracting that is much more effective, making the game incredibly fucking boring, in my opinion. And that's why you get stomps, and that's why you get rolls, and that's why you get all of these weird anomalies in the matchmaker where you go, you queue a game at GM3 and you go, wow, we just got spawn camped for 10 minutes, and then the next game you spawn camp them for 10 minutes because maybe in that one difference you ban that guy's character and he can't do anything, or someone else took that guy's character and he can't do anything, right? There is not enough solo agency in the game to overcome a lot of the things that are happening, especially at the speed at which you have to do it. And a big reason for this is Season 9 as well. For example, let's say I'm on Genji and I need the blade. Well, okay, they've got Suzu. Okay, well, I can try to get rid of that. I'm going to go duel the carry, try to get rid of the Suzu. Okay, she uses the TP. Right, that's fine. Let's chase her. Okay, we're fighting her. The Suzu's gone. Brilliant. Okay, can I blade now? What do they have? Well, they still got McCree Nade. Well, they still got Reaper Wraith. Well, they still got Empowered Punch. Well, they still got Sleep Dart. Well, they still got Anonade. Well, they still got all these things. And by the time I go and force all those things, because the health bars are so big and how long it takes to actually kill these people, and I do any meaningful damage to them, by the time it's done, Suzu's back, TP's back, and then maybe I've gone for Ana next, and then he's used McCree Nade on me, and I've run away. Well, then now the Nade is back. Do you see what I mean? There just is not enough time after Season 9. Everything takes longer, but the cooldowns are still not that long. So it takes a shitload of time to kill someone, but also there's enough denial abilities and protection abilities and mitigation abilities and stuff in the game to prevent you from dying or making it so it takes much longer to die, meaning that even with perfect play, you may not be killing targets that you really should be killing, and therefore you are having less impact on the game to carry it. Now, obviously, you can still carry a game. You don't need to kill people to carry a game, and so on. However, it is drastically less carry potential than there used to be. And that's why it feels like you're getting stomped. Because you might have a game where you do get a bad teammate, but you can't make up for the fact that you have that bad teammate, because the power creep of the game and the balance and the design of the game make it so that the difference between that one player being bad and being good is so drastic that there is no coming back from it in a lot of cases, which is dumb. I shouldn't have to queue into an Overwatch game and say, well, if my teammate plays suboptimally, I almost certainly guarantee a loss against a team that plays optimally. That is dumb. I cannot account for my teammates. My teammates cannot account for me. I can't account for what they play for. I can't account for any of that. So if I queue into a game, I don't want to say, I've lost because we have Kiriko Weaver. We've lost because we have Mercy Weaver. We've lost because we have Mercy Moira. That feels like shit. That feels lame. I don't feel like I deserve the loss. No one in that game feels like anyone deserved the loss, simply because the enemy team played Wu Yang and Lucio, or Wu Yang and Carry, or whatever, and then you just can't touch that backline, and my backline sucks ass. That feels like shit. And there's nothing you can do about that because of the fact of the power creep of the game and the balance of the game, the design of the game. I keep going over it and I keep saying it because there's no other way to do it. The balance is just terrible. It's so bad. There is not enough proactive based output in this game when you can just be a reactive bot and win the game by default in a lot of cases if you just counteract good plays. The game isn't about how good you are anymore. It's about the heroes you play and can you stop the enemy team from doing the things that they want to do, right? That's literally all it's about. I guarantee You load into your ranked games and you start playing with the mentality of denying the enemy team's good plays and denying all of the output and making it so you're staying alive and counteracting plays more often. I guarantee you will win more often doing that than you will having a proactive playstyle where you try to actually play the game properly and taking angles and so on, because the game rewards the slop gameplay of doing nothing and denying more than it does being proactive. And that's entirely why you get rolls and stomps and shitty gameplay, and it's exactly why people blame the matchmaker when it isn't the matchmaker's fault. It's the horrible game balance. Anyway, I love you. I hope you have a good day. Love the people around you. Eat some delicious food. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good one. Tell someone you appreciate them very much. You know, pray if you're religious. Don't if you don't. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Goodbye.